Let me bring you a story, actually really shocking story now. Legal action has been launched against a school where pupils were given contaminated blood in the 1970s and 80s. A group of 36 people made up of former students and the families of those who have died are seeking damages from Lord Mayor Treloar School in Hampshire. At least 72 pupils died after they were given blood products infected with HIV and hepatitis. Richard Warwick from West Heslington is part of that group that is seeking damages. He was sent to Treloar's when he was 10 years old. He joins us on the show now. Richard, what happened to you at Treloar's?
Well, started there in 1976 as a young, sprightly 10-year-old boy and was infected with hepatitis B, C and HIV while I was at the college.
When did you know that you'd been infected?
We knew sometime later, actually, after, it was sort of in the mid-80s when we were sort of diagnosed. But the thing is, one of the reasons we're taking this legal action against the school is that we believe that it's failed in its duty of care to its young pupils during through the 1970s and 1980s by undertaking trials, experiments and research on us as children.
What is that moment like when you're told that you have got hepatitis B, HIV? What is that like?
Well, absolutely devastating, obviously, not only for ourselves, but for our immediate families as well. And we lost so many boys there. As you said earlier, at least 72 have died that we know of after being infected at the college.
How has this affected your life?
Well, I can't really put it into words. It's just been devastating. The stigma that goes along with having those infections and the effect that it's had on our immediate families as well.
This happened in the 70s and the 80s, but this legal action is being taken because of something that came out during the public inquiry. Are you able to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. Last year we heard from the inquiry itself was regarding medical research that started, and we think the very early 70s by two doctors that were employed by the college, and also evidence from the headmaster who actually oversaw our care while he was there. And he was basically, he didn't have any interest at all as to what was going on in the Haemophilia Centre. And he saw the medics working at the centre as gods, basically, and signed off on various procedures and trials and research on the boys. And of course we weren't made aware, and more importantly our parents weren't made aware. We were going into the treatment room on a daily basis, having blood tests, having treatments that we weren't made aware of the risks of those treatments. And this went on for almost 2 decades. No consent was given by us or our parents for what they were doing to us.
And you're seeking damages. What do you want to get out of this?
Well, some sort of redress. I think it should be investigated further. We need to find out why so many people were so severely affected. After all, they were acting as our parents while we were away from home, and the school had overarching responsibility for the care of us while we were there, and we've ended up with these life-changing conditions and the deaths of so many of our school friends.
Mm. And will any redress make things better, Richard?
Well, I mean, of course, there's always, money doesn't bring back the dead, but I think it's important that we do go forward with this action and expose the actions of these clinicians that were clandestinely working behind the scenes and trying out these new drugs on us as young children. I mean, that wouldn't happen today, I'm sure, but before I actually started at the college, my parents were ensured that I would only be staying on the one treatment for the duration of the time that I was at the college, and within just 5 weeks it started on me on different types of drugs, which were imported from the States in the main, and carried these viruses, and they were doing what are called infectivity trials on the kids to see basically who would get infected first, and then blood tests on a daily basis, and this went on for, as I say, almost 2 decades. It's really shocking.
Yeah. Richard, thank you so much for being on the show to share your experience with us. Richard Warwick there from West Heslington. And just to let you know, Treloar has 21 days to respond after being served with legal papers last Friday. In a statement, the college told the BBC, "We are unable to comment on the legal action taken against Treloar at this point, but we will continue to cooperate with the public inquiry into these issues and await its outcome."